Hi, I'm David, and I want to thank you for being here and listening to somebody who might be a nobody because I'm not really famous or anything, but I do have a message that's very famous. So please do not judge this talk by the quality of the speaker or my speaking skills or my ability to work this camera. And I hope this message will be in one part, but if the camera battery dies, well, it'll be in two parts. But the message is something that I feel is very valuable, and the message that I'm going to give is abundance. How to enjoy abundance, how to have more abundance. And I'm speaking to you from my beautiful home in Seattle, Washington. You probably see that behind me is the love of my life, my grand piano. But what you can't see behind the camera down the hallway is my refrigerator. And basically, the piano that I have here, it feeds my soul. The healthy food in the refrigerator feeds my body. And the research work I do, a lot of interviews with people, reading books, attending seminars, a lot of analysis of my own life, a lot of coaching I'm doing and things like this. This is food for thought, food for the mind. Coming up with ideas that might be a benefit to other people. So I want to advocate a balanced diet. Food for the soul, food for the body, and food for the mind. Well, this talk is on abundance. And I'm going to go over 5 key points about how to have more abundance. But first I'm going to give a little bit of an overview, a little bit of a perspective on abundance. And one idea is to take this word abundance. The root word, or the root meaning of this word is flowing, abounding, or flowing. So when you think of abundance, think of something like, well, I don't know, like a kid at the Puyallup State Fair, with all of these, events he could ride, all these rides he could ride. Well, when you think about something flowing, think about these rides, and to really be abundant, I mean, it's possible that he could own all of the rides, but never go on any, and he might not get much enjoyment out of life. However, he doesn't have to own any of the rides, but if he went on just one ride and enjoyed the journey, the process, the movement of that ride, he might feel a great deal of satisfaction, and he could go on one ride at a time and never have to own any of the rides and go home feeling quite fulfilled. So when you think of the word abundance, think of the word flowing, and things can flow through your lives, and you don't have to grab hold and keep everything. You can enjoy it as it comes. Well, the other idea about abundance is I want you to take the word abundance, and where the B is, in abundance, substitute with the letter F, and what you have is a funny word, affundance, rather than abundance. And if you spread out those words, it looks like a fun dance. So I tend to look at the idea of abundance as a fun dance. So consider abundance as a dancing partner. It's your dancing partner. And so learn about your dancing partner and treat your dancing partner well. Learn the dance. Learn the abundance dance. Learn this fun dance. Don't step on abundance's toes when you're dancing. In other words, don't make fun of other people or ridicule people because perhaps they have more abundance than you have and you think they're greedy, awful, rich, wealthy people that should give all their money to the poor and to the regular people. Don't step on the toes of abundance, but instead appreciate abundance, enjoy abundance, learn how abundance works so that you can dance in harmony with abundance, so that your growth and experience and enjoyment of abundance is smooth, has some type of rhythm, some type of music to it, So there are two aspects of abundance. We could call one a material abundance, and one a non-material. Material abundance, cars, boats, money, cash, companies that we own, whatever. The non-material might be things like, health, wisdom, insights, self-growth, self-improvement, skills, abilities, things like this. Well, the talk I'm going to give tonight is really going to be on material abundance. But there is a connection because I'll be talking somewhat about the intangible abundance. And the main idea of this whole talk is to not limit your ability to have the material abundance because you think you have to trade another material item for that material abundance. In other words, trading cash for a car, you know. The idea I'm going to give you is that you can trade an intangible, something intangible from your world of abundance for something tangible. And the basic intangible that I'm going to teach you or talk to you about trading is an intangible called appreciation. So I'm going to show you how to better access what you want and without being limited by not having an adequate amount of cash. And one thing I've observed, by the way, in people, in their younger years, 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe early 50s, they tend to be going after more of the material. And in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, the priorities tend to be more of the non-material. So I find that our lives tend to, for many people, tend to have a gradual kind of a evolution or shift. So no matter how materialistic you think somebody is or shouldn't be, have a little respect for the fact that they just may be going through an evolution and will likely get to a point where they'll be more concerned and have more greater satisfaction with the intangibles, the friendships, the quality of health, the ability to live with themselves and to have a positive, healthy, good relationship with themselves, so they can be happy when they're with themselves. So I'm going to give you two other interesting ideas. One is called ownership, and that's when you have the ownership title to something. But the other idea I'm going to tell you about, or I'm going to ask you to keep in mind, is called enjoymentship. This is like enjoyment consciousness. So with a car, for example, you could have the ownership title to a car, or somebody could have the ownership title. But what if you had the enjoymentship title? In other words, you gave yourself the permission, or you gave yourself the idea to really enjoy this car. You see, there is this quote I once came across that goes like this: wealth is not theirs who have it. Wealth is theirs who enjoy it. Now, really, wealth is theirs who have it in terms of they're the owners of it. But the idea is that if you own something but aren't enjoying it, it's almost kind of like you're forgetting you're forgetting that you have it, or you don't really. It's kind of almost like not having it. But if you enjoy what you have, it really adds to your ownership value of it. And if you enjoy the material abundance that other people have and in the world around us, you don't have to own it. And as you cultivate this ability to enjoy it, you'll find that you can enjoy things that other people own even more than they're enjoying them, and you're not even having to pay for them. So now I'm going to tell you this 5-step process on increasing your capacity for abundance. And it goes like this. Number 1, appreciate what you already have. Number 2, identify something more perhaps that you'd like to have. 3, meet people who already have this thing. 4, appreciate these people and appreciate the things they have that you would like to have, or we're going to say enjoy. And 5, take it home with you. And what I mean by take it home is take home the enjoyment. Carry it with you, and whether you're going home or wherever you're going. So these are these 5 steps. Appreciate what you already have. Identify something more you'd like to have. Meet people who have it. Appreciate them and appreciate the thing they have or things they have. And then embrace the enjoyment of it and take away the enjoyment factor. So I'm now going to talk about appreciating what you already have. And this is pretty simple to do. Be grateful for what you have. Take good care of what you have. I own a beautiful grand piano and I take care of it. I love it. I play on it. I record videos on it, I make CDs on it, and I have a really, really good time with this piano. I own a car, and it's a very old, it's a 20-year-old car. I take very, very good care of this car. So I enjoy these two things that I have. And you know, it works for me because I make recordings on the piano. I send them out to people by way of the email and on YouTube. People listen to them and they invite me to some place to play where I'll get paid to do so. And then I'll drive there with my car and get paid. Then I'll come back here and play some more music, make some more recordings, get invited to play again. So the few things that I do own, I'm getting a tremendous amount of enjoyment and appreciation from them. And in so doing, I'm able to extend some of the beauty that I can experience to others as I give performances or sell my CDs too. So appreciate what you already have. And next, I'm going to introduce now the second idea. Identify something more you'd like to have. And you know, more is not bad. More is just more. Think about the things you'd like to have and pick out the priority, you know, prioritize them, pick out the things you most like to have. I knew a guy named Ed who loved boats. Now Ed had made just minimum wage, but he loved boats, so he'd hang around places where there were boats. And you know what? He would meet people who had very nice yachts while he was there. And he got to know a lot about boats. And he once met a guy who was doing some polishing or some, varnishing on his boat deck. And this guy, my friend Ed, he knew a lot about varnishes, and he was able to help this guy whose name was Charles, who owned the boat. So they built up a real good relationship, and pretty soon Charles hired Ed as a maintenance person for his boat. Well, then it wasn't too much longer that he also hired Ed to pilot the boat as he'd go out and take his friends out there. And then he would meet Charles's friends, and then their friends wanted him to do the maintenance and also pilot his boat, and it expanded from there. Well, it all started because Ed was appreciating something. He enjoyed boats, so he basically met somebody who had what he wanted. He met someone who had a boat. He appreciated Charles, and he did something to improve the value of his boat. Not only the maintenance, but he gave him a lot of other ideas about how he can improve the quality of how it runs, the engine, all kinds of things. And he did the same thing with the other people's boats. And in addition to this, by doing this, he also improved the relationships between Charles and his friends too. Also, Ed once went to a boat show because he loved boats and knew a lot about boats. He knew more boats about he knew more about boats than the salesmen who were selling the boats. So when people would ask questions and he was just standing there beside them, he would volunteer to answer, and the salesman liked him so much because he would help them sell the boats that they'd give him a commission, part of their commission. So, and in addition to that, some of the people who were dealers for these boats, they also referred other purchasers to Ed, so that Ed could do maintenance and also to be the pilot for their ships too. So Ed had quite a wonderful life, and again the things he did was he appreciated the people. He created win-win relationships with these people that owned what he wanted, and he appreciated the things they had, and he improved the value of the things they had. And this was, in a sense, a part of the currency. This was like an intangible currency that he offered. And in return for that, it's not like they gave him a boat. But like I said, wealth is not theirs who have it. Wealth is theirs who enjoy it. Ed got a tremendous amount of enjoyment from very rich boats. I mean, $2, $3, $5 million boats all around the Puget Sound and some of the marinas up in Anacortes. He's been all over Vancouver Island, the San Juan Islands, taking people out on their boats and having the greatest time, and that's what Ed was able to do. Well, you know, you can do the same thing with like a mansion. You know, if you don't have the money to buy a mansion, like somebody like me right now, you know, you could go to open houses. You could get a part-time job as a cleaning, being the cleaning person in a mansion. You could do house sitting in a mansion. You could find enough house sitting jobs to last you the whole life in mansions. You could become a part-time real estate agent who specialized only in mansions. Anyway, the idea is that you don't have to own the thing, but you can find a way to enjoy the thing. For example, pianos. I can go into a piano store, the more luxurious piano stores, and there's this piano called the Bossendorfer that costs $200,000. Well, since I take good care of pianos and play them in a very sensitive and caring way, they let me play this $200,000 piano, so I can enjoy an expensive instrument. Now, a Steinway piano like this, the brand new ones are about anywhere between $60,000 to $90,000. This one, by the way, only cost $3,000. Not just because I'm so great at finding deals, but because it was purchased actually in 1963, when that's how much they cost. So I have something here that I can appreciate, and but I can go and find the really expensive ones that I don't necessarily want to buy, but I can enjoy them. And I can find people who own very, very, even much higher quality pianos, much more expensive pianos, rare pianos in their homes, and they let me come and play them. So again, we come back to the idea, wealth is not theirs who have it, wealth is theirs who enjoy it. So well, one other idea on fine art. How much would it cost to buy the Mona Lisa, or the Michelangelo statue of David, or the many beautiful works of art that can be found in the Louvre Art Museum, like in Paris, France, and in the many other art museums in Europe? Priceless, and yet you could enjoy them. If you got a part-time job working in one of these museums, or a part-time, curator, where you could actually be close to these beautiful things all your life, if art was something you truly enjoyed, you could certainly have a lifetime around priceless things and never have to pay a penny for them. Again, it's the ability to own, the ability to enjoy something. You don't have to have the ownership title. You can have the enjoymentship title. And this is a title you give to yourself in being aware, being conscious of your enjoyment of it. By the way, the story of King Midas, when every touch turned to gold. Well, in a way, when you are appreciating people and appreciating the things they have, it's kind of like you're turning experiences into golden moments in the people you're touching, in the contacts that you're having. Because when you are appreciating, like when Ed was appreciating Charles' boat, it reminded Ed of all the hard work that it took for him to make the money to buy this boat. And so what you're really doing is you're helping this person, you're helping the person who might have forgotten that he was so lucky and fortunate to have a boat like this. You're helping him to appreciate it even more. And the interesting thing about this word appreciate, it comes from the word appreciate, and P-R-E-C, which means to price. So appreciate, you're putting a price on something. When you appreciate something, it's like you're putting a higher price on it. If you have a lovable pet dog, you appreciate this dog. This dog is more valuable to you. You're putting a higher price on this dog than some little dog in North Dakota that you don't even know. And if your dog ran away, you would feel really, really unhappy about that, because you value this dog so much. You appreciate the dog. And so if you ran away and never found him again, that would be a tragic loss. It could be a tragic loss. But if somebody had a dog in North Dakota and the dog ran away and you heard about it, well, you might not appreciate that dog as much, so less of a loss. So it's the idea that we create value when we appreciate. When we appreciate another person, we are seeing more value in this person, and we are also helping them to see more value in themselves. And when a person has more value in themselves, they have more value they can give back to you. It's almost like if you gave a person $100,000 worth of value, and they gave you back $10,000 in cash, well, that would be like giving something that's intangible appreciation, and they gave you back something in cash. And for example, if you were able to use an intangible, like an idea, that could help somebody or guide somebody or give somebody a contact or some more progress in building or creating something for which they were compensated, they would very likely pay you a finder's fee, commission, or some type of a remuneration for this. So again, it's the idea of, if you don't have the cash to buy a mansion, Ed didn't have the cash to buy a boat because he made minimum wage. I don't have the cash to buy a Bossendorfer piano. However, I can appreciate pianos at a beautiful piano store. Ed can appreciate boats and enjoy them all around. And people can appreciate mansions and go to open houses or be house sitters in these mansions. So the third, I'm now going to talk about this third step, which is you want to meet people who already have these things, just like Ed met Charles with the boat. You know, find organizations, associations, meetup groups, wherever they happen to be, and meet people who own the things that you would like to enjoy. And what you want to do is create win-win relationships. And when I call win-win, it's not just 50-50 where both people win the same. Make it 60-40. Make the other person win just a little bit more. I think this is a great way to have valuable friendships, and it teaches us to go the extra mile for other people. So you meet people who have the thing, and you express appreciate, and you're going to do two things. You're going to appreciate them, and you're going to appreciate the thing they own. You will tell them how, acknowledge them for the hard work that it took in order for them to do whatever they had to do in order to now be the owner of this thing, and tell them what you enjoy and what you like about this thing too. It's going to rekindle, it's going to re-inspire them to enjoy it a little bit more too. You're going to improve their connection, their enjoyment with this person. And remember, they have the ownership title. You don't have to have that. You just have to have the enjoymentship title. And that's something that you give to yourself in identifying something that you would like to have or experience. Meeting people who have this thing and getting close to it, getting around it, using it. Just like Ed could pilot any of these boats. It's almost like he owned all these boats. Some of these people who have these beautiful yachts, I'm talking $3, $4, $5 million yachts, for 3 years they didn't even go on them at all. And yet they paid Ed to every year do some maintenance on the engine and on the boats themselves, etc. So and even take them out to make sure they're all running right, whatever. So Ed, in his love for yachts, he had more enjoyment out of these yachts during this time that the people didn't even see it, and yet he didn't even have the ownership title. He actually got paid for it while they were paying all kinds of expenses for the taxes, the mortgage fees, etc., etc. So remember that appreciation is like a currency. If you don't have the cash for something, appreciate it anyway. And as you appreciate it, you're going to feel better about it. And appreciate the people who own these things. You're going to create good relationships. You're going to help them enjoy their whatever they have more. You're going to be spreading a lot of good. Well, basically the fifth item on this thing is basically you take it home. And what I mean by that is you take the enjoyment home. And you take the enjoyment wherever you go. So I'm going to do a very quick review of these 5 points. Appreciate what you already have. Identify something else, something more you'd like to have. Meet people who already have it. Appreciate them and appreciate the thing that you would like to have. And in so doing, you're going to be creating very good relationships. And basically, buy it. And you're going to buy it with this intangible currency. You're actually buying it by way of appreciating it. And then 5, take it home. Take home the enjoyment. You know, one of the most inspiring movies I ever saw was called Our Vines Have Tender Grapes, from about 1947 to 48. Edward G. Robinson was a farmer. Agnes Moorehead played his wife, and the child actress Margaret O'Brien played the daughter. Well, he was a farmer, and it was a beautiful story about him raising his daughter on a farm, teaching her values and principles of life. And in the story, one of their neighbors, who had a huge barn, a very modern barn, the most expensive and modern equipment type barn all around that everybody envied, and this guy had spent 40 years of his life savings to build this barn, and shortly after it was running and operational, a lightning storm, lightning hit it, and it burned down. He lost everything, the barn and all of his animals. So he was feeling quite bad. Well, the people of the town at the church the next Sunday were trying to raise money to help the guy. And after about 15 or 20 minutes of passing around the collection plate, they only raised $15, because these people, they were cash poor, but they were land rich. So here they felt kind of bad. They only had $15 to give this guy, and he just lost 40 years of his life savings in this barn, and it was not insured. He wanted to save money, so he didn't buy insurance on it. Well, then Margaret O'Brien, the daughter in this movie, early in the show, her father had given her a calf, a baby calf to take care of, so he could teach her how to be responsible for something, how to care for something. So she raised her hand and said, "Look, I don't have any money to give, and it's too bad that we only have $15 collectively to give to the farmer and his family. But could I donate my calf, this baby calf?" And when she said that, within just a few minutes, all the other farmers in the church there, they all pledged horses, cows, tractors, pigs and hogs and hay and lumber to rebuild a new barn, dairy and milking equipment and all this stuff. Within just a few minutes, they pledged enough, more than enough, to replace the loss of this farmer. And it actually took them longer to pass around the collection plate when they were looking only for cash. It took them longer to find $15 than it did to find all the materials they needed to completely compensate and repay back the farmer who had lost all of these things. So the idea here is that don't ever feel like you're limited because you don't have the cash to get something that you want. Find some type of the currency. Just like in this movie, they realized, well, we don't have the cash, but we have something we can trade. Well, they traded something tangible, like horses and cows and whatever. But remember to trade the intangible. Appreciation can be a wonderful currency, and you can add a lot of value to other people. You're adding value to the thing that you're appreciating. You're adding value to your own life by appreciating what you have, and you're adding a lot of value to yourself and others as you create win-win, high-quality relationships. So in closing, I'd like to say thank you for listening to this talk. I have a lot to learn about presenting information in an organized way, but I hope that you got something from the content of this information. And again, thanks for listening. This is David from Seattle, Washington. My beautiful love of my life, my grand piano behind me, and I have a number of piano videos on YouTube. I'd play something right now, but I need to get a better microphone so the sound appears better. I want to wish you well, and I hope that you find whatever intangible or tangible currency that you can find in abundance, so that you can get whatever in life that you want. And remember that this intangible currency is kind of like a bank account. It's like a bank account that is unlimited, because we are unlimited in our imagination, our creativity, and in our thinking. And because of that, we can find ways to barter with other people, find ways to help them appreciate what they have, so they will be more inviting, so that we can appreciate what we can enjoy what they have. And remember, wealth is not theirs who have it, wealth is theirs who enjoy it. And so don't be so focused on having to have the ownership title to something in order to give yourself permission to enjoy it. Instead, go for the enjoymentship title, the title that you give to yourself. Thank you very much for listening. This is David in Seattle saying goodbye, and I want to wish you a very, very abundant journey in whatever in life that's important to you. Thank you.